Tony. I'm sure the fans are also very excited about those sentiments too. We're going to get into our quarterfinals, Sentinels versus Spacestation Gaming, and it is over to Onset and Broth.
Thank you very much, Lottie, and this has been one of the most unpredictable days of Halo we've seen in quite some time. And now we have a repeat of the grand finals from Salt Lake City. We have Spacestation taking on Sentinels, and Andy, I've got to be honest, at this point I have no idea what could happen.
It's true. It feels like this is the biggest upset and most surprises, maybe the most unexpected matches we've seen since the Halo World Championship last year. Remember a lot of those upsets coming in on the Saturday. It's been a pretty wild bracket here as well. Now we're into your winners quarterfinals, Spacestation versus Sentinels. As you said, a rematch from the SLC Grand Finals. Also worth noting, of course, Sentinels finding themselves on the receiving end of a 4-0 and also a 3-1 early in the tournament, bringing it to 7-1 in Salt Lake in favor of SSG.
One thing that's different, though, about Salt Lake City is the fact that this is neutral ground. This is not an SSG crowd, which is, you know, screaming from the rafters for the entirety of the series and every single time that we saw a kill being picked up. This is a Sentinels and Spacestation crowd that's going to be split down the middle. So we're going to have to see if that has an influence. But one thing to kind of point out as well is it's a very interesting series layout here between the two teams. And one thing to highlight, I just want to talk about the Slayers a little bit, because SLC coming into that, we knew that Spacestation had gone away and worked on them. And it showed in the results as well. They were very convincing in their Slayer record. But here in Fort Worth, they've struggled a little bit again.
They're struggling 2-3 overall in Slayers, and like you said, maybe rearing their heads, some old habits that they'll want to put to rest as fast as they can. If we talk about the Street Slayer, it's 50-35 in favor of SSG the last time they played it in the upper bracket final in Salt Lake City. StelluR popping off, going 19-11. We'll take a look at the entire map pool on your screen here. It's worth noting that Sentinels is 4-0 in these maps, SSG 3-1. So in terms of records overall this weekend, they're both looking pretty good.
Certainly are indeed. One thing to note as well is kind of the form of both teams at this event. Spacestation up and down to say the least. A lot of talk about that series, that Game 5 against LVT, but they did bounce back in the last series that we casted over on Bravo, where they took on, who did they play?
G1.
Oh my goodness, G1 with a convincing 3-0 victory. But they really looked like the Spacestation of old, to be honest with you. The teamwork was there, the team shot was there, and it looked extremely convincing. Sentinels, on the other hand, apart from Quadrant, up until we just saw the Quadrant loss against Shopify Rebellion, have the best map record so far in the tournament. They're 9-1 at this point.
Yeah, 9-1. Also worth noting, no CTF for SSG, as you saw. They're 20-4 in that game type. However, they won't have the chance to play it here in this series. Game number 1 going to be Solitude Strongholds.
And this is one, like you mentioned, the Sentinels had won previously. So Sentinels, if they can continue that form and get out to the hot start, then who knows what's going to happen in this series. This is the next step for Sentinels. Spacestation, they're going to go back-to-back coming into this tournament, now with questions to answer. Can Sentinels take them down, send them to the elimination bracket, and clear their way towards that grand final?
That's the question here. As we said, a rematch from your grand finals in Salt Lake City. We're seeing it early due to bracket chaos here, and we are now into your winners quarterfinals. Spacestation versus Sentinels. Game 1 is underway.
Here we go then. Falcated POV, a man who is looking to kind of fulfill potential. A lot of good talk about what he can do and the performances he puts in, but just looking for that championship to really solidify his position. That's one of the best in Halo Infinite. StelluR, though, we've already seen one sniper rifle bullet hit a body and picking up the kill alongside it. There's another. It's a great start here for SSG. QT being picked up, and Sentinels find themselves with Falcated on his own.
Right away hits the QT as well. That'll be at his disposal if he needs. Right now, just diving and dodging away from some grenades. Now, thinking this should be a walk in the park for SSG. Let's not forget, Sentinels was 9-1 in pools. SSG 8-4 in pools. Sentinels has looked strong this weekend so far.
It's going to be Spacestation have the early scoring in their hands, though. AB to set up. They transition away from C towards A to keep that 2-cap. Contesting going down on B from Sentinels. Speaking of contesting, Bubu learns that contesting StelluR when he's got a sniper rifle, not the best of ideas.
Not at all. 25-0 now. Still on board here with StelluR, just controlling and patrolling at LR. Ooh. Here he comes now. Challenge and push back a bit.
You can see they want to trap on those sniper side spawns, and StelluR just missing that one bullet has now allowed Sentinels to escape. Eco tried to push off the back of predicted damage. Didn't happen. Now Sentinels is pushing forward themselves. 2v2 on the map at the moment, and Sentinels have managed to flip B. He gets taken back here by Sentinels as well. They managed to defend that. C being taken by Spacestation, but they seem to be out-rotating at the moment. Sentinels, their opponents, picking up these kills, bottom middle. LethuL starting to introduce himself to this game. A really good start from TJ. 4-3, he was 4-2 just as I started that sentence, but will fall for a few seconds.
Really nice push there, double player down the driveway to make sure they get B. However, Spacestation answering the kills quite well. Val with some very good shots.
Really, really good shots. That thrust is such an important thing to pick up. The Sentinels find themselves 3 dead. It's going to be StelluR who picks up that 1 thrust off of the body of Falcated, and it'll be a comfortable conversion now on that B stronghold. Now, interested to see how Spacestation play this. Are they going to try and be aggressive, look for a triple cap here, and trap Sentinels in the trap?
See how long they can hold this BC. StelluR somehow manages to stay alive and dodge grenades as Spartan knows he needs to sniff them out. And that's exactly what he does. Still holding BC though, is Spacestation. C starting to get converted now.
Yeah, really good push this actually from Sentinels up towards that nest. C should be flipped in a few moments time, and bubu bottom middle. He's going to be able to flip B, excuse me. So it's a momentary triple cap here for Sentinels. bubu's going to be able to jump up to gold as well and pressurize the 2 players. Got the QT to escape as well, so mid-map control holding the line at the moment, Sen.
Mind that QT is right there. Looking to just pop gold whenever he wants. That's a very dangerous spot. Very, very efficient use of the QT from bubu.
Really, really smart placement, and now he moves in as well, and a lot of talk on the desk and from the stats guys behind the scenes about how well this guy has been playing. He's Q2ing back and forth at the moment, doing so much damage, still in that fight, but it allowed them to keep control, and I tell you what, StelluR's just doing what he does best.
Tied here at 56. Sentinels now regains the lead on the AB hold, but one of the best QT usage we've seen. You don't always see a full min-max of the QT, where the last final QT, once you've done the job at your previous location to QT, when there's just a few frames left. bubu making sure to maximize there. See if they can continue on here. It's a small lead for them.
Great bait in there from bubu as well. He was just trying to take the attention away from LethuL, who pushed up, and now LethuL will get 2. He should be able to move in towards C. The last player alive is going to be Pznguin here for SSG. He will fall. It's a fresh 4 dead here for Sentinels. They should be looking for a triple cap. If they have someone in and around C, the spawns will be coming in maybe bottom of the snipe, and they are indeed. So it looks like the 2 cap is the decision. They're going to let the spawn and try and trap him.
See what Foul does here, left the responsibility. You can tell he knows it. He actually gets bodied though. That's going to make it difficult here, and StelluR cleans him up.
The Sentinels from a 4 dead find themselves on the receiving end of a 4 dead. Spacestation escaped that spawn trap and managed to pick up the kills alongside. It's such a tight game though, Andy, between the 2 at the moment. Only a few points separate them. Fantastic game number 1 in the series, and to be honest, based on what we knew about Sentinels having only taken this game time off of SSG, we had hoped it might be this close. And that's exactly what we have here. Eco skips the QT. That goes for the kill bottom middle. 3 dead for both sides. 1v1 between Spartan and StelluR. One versus StelluR. Arguably the 2 standout players for their respective squads. It's going to be StelluR who wins that one, gets the reset onto B as well. Spacestation will continue scoring and go into a lead now. Sentinels fall behind. They're now playing catch-up. One of the best games of Stronghold I think we've seen this entire weekend here. Just back and forth. Yeah. Back and forth each time. As these leads exchange, I think, at least 6 times in this game, which you don't always get to see in a Stronghold. Such a good decision there made to prioritize that kill onto bubu as well. So bubu's trying to kind of take attention away from B. Trying to be a distraction, let the rest of Sentinels flood onto B bottom middle. StelluR read it. So did the rest of SSG. They prioritized that kill, they refight, and now they have that triple cap.
2 dead here. What does StelluR do? Needs to be very careful with his QT because 2 of his teammates are dead and needs to make this push very. Of course, he makes a great play. QT is right away for no damage. Takes a new angle as well. Great 2v1 there from Sen. Yeah, really good communication there from Sentinels to make sure that StelluR wasn't a problem for too long. They get the conversion onto B as well, but pressure now coming in from the LR and Glass. Trying to flank here, trying to get behind enemy lines and maybe thinking about causing some problems here for the SSG lineup. Still pretty close here, but Spacestation slowly starting to pull away. 117 to 97, still an AB hold here. 2 dead for both sides. Big 1v1 win for Spartan, and he stays alive. Yeah, really big reset though momentarily on bottom middle as well. You can see Bound and Pznguin have doubled up on bottom middle themselves, so they get beat back in their favor. But this is just a constant flipping of strongholds at the moment. The killing spree for Spartan. A couple of nades going to be banked as well, and somehow he's still playing his life here. The amount of time he's bought for the rest of his team, really impressive like that one from Spartan. Really impressive, stayed alive so long in posters. Foul went to 1v1, however, those will be traded out regardless. LethuL is your last player alive here for Sen. Round top middle, picks up that QT, will be able to nip around the map even quicker than he normally does. Put that down in a good spot. Sentinels all trapped up blue at the moment. LethuL wins his 1v1, should be cleaned up quite easily here by Bound. As Sentinels turn their attention towards bottom mid. A couple of kills being picked up. Bound hits the body of bubu. Oh, snaps onto the head as well. StelluR gets another. But look at the constant pressure around the map. No one can go on any kind of run at the moment.
It just seems like B is just a constant mosh pit.
Spacestation scoring once again on BC. Notice a little bit of a difference from SLC. Players are hitting the QT immediately. Even if it's not the most optimal position for your QT, you hit it immediately. So you always have the get out of jail card. And beautiful use there for Bound. StelluR, unsurprisingly, putting on a show as well.
It's almost as if StelluR looked at bubu then and just went, I missed that one. Let me just kill this guy quickly and I'll look at you again. And that's exactly what he did. Spacestation now continuing to score and starting to rack up a little bit of a lead in this game. One of the most significant we've seen for quite some time. It's around 60 points. Spartan's already down to half shields at the moment, and StelluR just trying to trap him here at C.
What was just a tie game around the 60 mark. As 3-4 dead, and of course StelluR cleans up the last one. And things are getting out of hand. Off of the 4 dead, it's a trip cap for Spacestation as well. They are up 186 to 101.
Now look at Sentinels, they're all trapped in blue at the moment. They're gonna have to flood through some very horrible chokes at the moment. There's gonna be numerous players, a killing spree here for StelluR, and that's the spree. We were talking about what was missing from this game. LethuL falls as well. Foul has no idea, it's triple. Or a double that he's awarded. I would say that was 3 in a row. He maybe deserved the triple.
He's doing it all here. Of course, on the fadeaway to go back up the ramp backwards. Still a trip cap here at the 240 mark.
This is getting out of hand, and Sentinels are very much in the blender at the moment. Just like that, click your fingers and you miss it. SSG steam away with the Strongholds game in those last few minutes. They're up by 1.
Couldn't have put it better myself. Trip cap comes in heavy at the 170 mark, and before you know it, back-to-back 4 dead, and Spacestation Gaming is up 1-0 in the series.
And you can see how devastating it is with 4 dead in that Strongholds, right? I mean, Solitude, if you're spawning a B, if you're spawning a blue, all 4 of you at the same time and you're in a triple cap, you're dead. It's as simple as that against players who are that talented. You're gonna have to work through a couple of respawns to just get back on the map. SSG didn't allow them to even have an impact on those Strongholds. Look at the stats though. StelluR, no surprise, he's top of the leaderboards once again. 18-9, I believe that was.
Yep.
Take a look at the damage as well.
Spacestation outslays in the end 59 to 53. However, outscoring them 250 to 101 as we take a look at some highlights. And I love that the score differential is as wide as it is, while the slay differential is as small as it is. That tells you just how efficient the Spacestation roster is in a game type like Stronghold.
Yeah, it also shows how important and devastating a triple cap can be, right? Because it was a constant battle for bottom middle, B, Stronghold, getting flipped back and forth between the 2 teams with one home base to work from. But as soon as that triple cap came in, followed by the 3-4 dead, SSG just took over completely. You saw StelluR just running around, listening to call-outs, cleaning up bullets, cleaning up players, I should say, with some bullets. And then before you know it, it felt like it was 160 to 100. Oh my goodness, game over.
Yeah, absolutely, couldn't agree more. Things were so close there at the 70 mark. We thought we were going to maybe go the distance in that game type all the way through. Instead, Spacestation has other plans for the day. They win the rematch on Solitude Strongholds, the only game type, mind you, that Sentinels had taken off of them coming in here, and now they find themselves heading into a Game 2 Street Slayer. And despite being 2-3 in Slayer overall here, let's not forget the last time these 2 teams played this game type, SSG won 50 to 35.
I will say though, if this tournament's taught us anything so far, the stats kind of like, cool, that's what's happened in the past, but we're not quite sure what's going to happen in the future. And I will say they have looked a little bit shaky on their Slayers. Sentinels will have that in mind for sure. And Sentinels have been pretty good on them historically as well. So, wouldn't be a surprise to me to see the series tied up at 1-1, but it also wouldn't be a surprise for me to see SSG start to roll, start to find the form that we've been expecting to see from them and go up 2-0 here as well. StelluR is going to be on the street. Watch out for those rockets.
Watch out for those rocks. We'll see if SSG can do it again here. As we said, a 15-kill margin in a game type like this is a big one. We'll see if they can repeat here. Game number 2 underway. Spacestation leading 1-0.
StelluR not quite catching anyone on that threat seeker by the looks of things, but he does have a bulldog. We've got the rockets first, but it was a little bit of an exchange of kills, and StelluR's trying to flank the Shrouders down, and now he's in trouble. Falcated comes out. It's 4 dead for Spacestation. Where's that final rocket gone as well? Is it still down? Has anyone used a Spartan scan to find that weapon on the floor?
Looks like it might have been down right between kind of bottom mid and B stairs, right around the palms. We'll see if it's still there. However, we're not sure if Sentinels has too much time to even be able to worry about it. It's all 4 players up on the map, of course.
Game slows down almost instantly here. Sentinels not trying to re-pressurize too much off the respawn, even though it was a fresh 4 dead. Pznguin gets put out for just a moment. What a So there's enough debate. StelluR missed a couple of shots there, which is a bit uncharacteristic. Now he comes back in, and all of a sudden he's not missed it again. It's a double kill for StelluR. He's looking for more as well, and they've turned over the Stalker rifle as well.
A really interesting ring around the Rosie there on Neons and the L. We actually had multiple flanks on both sides, from the tower side as well as the tram side, that resulted in the game staying now within 3. So while Spacestation had started to win that overall, Sentinels bounces back and keeps the lead.
Round challenging, Spartan just couldn't hit that third shot with the Stalker. And that's the margins that you're going to find decide these kind of games between these teams. Now flying, trying to apply a little bit of pressure. Pznguin has managed to pick up that Stalker rifle as well, so SSG, you would say, have a weapon advantage, but it's 25 seconds or so until we see the second set of rockets.
You can tell that both teams are really just playing for that, right? Things have slowed down considerably. Game comes within 1 now. We'll see where this next one goes. Who was able to get taken down, bringing the game now to 8-8, all tied up here. 2 minutes of play have taken place.
One kill between the two. Spartan versus Bound. Spartan's going to win that one. Pznguin cleans it up, gets that trade. bubu going to trade it out almost immediately. That's how efficient both these teams are being at the moment. As Eco with the Shroud, and one of the last players alive, Spacestation, manages to sneak in and grab the rockets.
Really well done there with the Shroud. And anytime that Shroud goes down with players at this level, it really should be perfectly placed in a way that lets them get away with the rockets the exact way that Eco did. That brings the game tied at 11.
Go with an easy kill bottom middle here as well. Falcated will trade it out. Rocket's now out of commission, so it's Falcated for a few seconds. LethuL going to be challenging against Eco. Pznguin is there to give a bit of assistance. He keeps not only his teammate alive, but picks up the kill onto LethuL, and now we see the scores flip. It was the Rockets that changed the game. It's a 2-kill advantage now for SSG.
See how they play this slow once again. You can just tell. They know here in the winner's quarters, this is the team they met in the grand finals only 3.5 weeks ago. You could just tell by the pace of the game that they know that. They know that this opponent is not one to be taken lightly whatsoever.
Let me pick up a little bit of info. I'm pretty sure the StelluR might have the Bulldog as well. Close range fights might be good for StelluR. Changes to the battle rifle though and gets that opening damage and that opening kill here for SSG. It's a 3-kill advantage for them. And you can see the flex position at the moment that Eco is playing. Yeah. He can respond to anyone. He's looking at Pznguin, he's looking at StelluR. He's trying to be that second battle rifle in those 1v1s to turn it into a 2v1.
They do lose StelluR here, however, the kills will be traded out. Bound's going to grab another one here at 16-14. Let's get to a listen in with Spacestation came.
Come in, one shot. Here, I'm here. One shot in B, red and one shot right there. I'm looking. Still one shot dead. In B. Spartan. He's red, dead. I'm driving with you.
Arcade weak.
In heaven.
One shot planners, one shot break.
Two there. One's one shot. I'm one shot break.
Yeah, Kevin, push it out.
Just live break, I'm one.
Kevin, I'm here, Kevin, back up,
I'm dying. I'm gonna die.
Pushing up B.
Kevin, LethuL, just there. Watch out, Kevin, watch out.
Oh, I died.
Planners.
Rocket soon.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Adam.
Don't die for me.
Dude, there's 2 there.
Tires weak, you're gonna be okay.
Give me one shot.
Watch out.
Tires weak.
One shot tires. Another one shotty window.
Rockets and
Play for Rockets.
C stairs.
There's C-stairs. Yeah, C-stairs on.
Got him. I'm shooting him.
On Rockets, guys.
Spikes.
On Rockets, laundry.
One shot, weak spikes.
One is laundry.
He's running away, spikes. On 2 on shot, he both weak.
They're scamming. One shot laundry.
One shot laundry.
Dead.
3 dead.
Let's go bubu agent or ATM.
How many guys? One rocket on my axe.
Okay, I'll get it.
Oh, 3 dead.
My spawn C.
I spawned B.
Okay.
I can push out your C.
Could be back trash.
I'm check it.
Yeah, they're going.
Spawn ready.
One shot bricks, Spartan.
Heaven, LethuL.
One shot bricks, Spartan.
We Kevin.
Hold on, I have stalker guys.
We can go kill.
Nice.
Yeah, we don't have to do anything.
I'm in cafe.
I'm looking at you,
PJ,
I'm looking at you.
one shot, PJ.
Hear you.
I stalker him once.
Heaven, planners weak. Planners
I
one
left
shot.
C, guys. I'm
Break. Be safe,
Pillars.
be pillars quick today. Just let's
right back tower.
Bricks, planners.
Check back tower.
Good. I think we're good.
Okay. I'm shotty tires.
We're about 5.
Yo, Kevin, I'm playing cafe with you.
I'm sitting
Kevin,
dead. I'm sitting dead, man.
I died.
No, there's 2 cafe guys, 2 cafe.
I'm looking cafe. I'm looking. I'm dead.
Could be one shot.
Jump out the comments. Something I've got to highlight, Andy, that I love hearing in communication is, I'm looking at you.
Right.
You're the player who's being told that by your teammate. It means you've got cover. It means you can escape. And you can re-challenge the moment that your shields come back.
Absolutely, really good comms, and it's led to a really good lead as well. 28-21 now as they clean out back A. Falcated tries to fly in, but it's not going to be easy, and still more in cafe as well.
Yeah, I mean, Sentinels are finding it difficult at the moment to get 4 players back on the map. SSG are just pushing the pace, and there's another double kill coming in for Bound. It's a 10-kill advantage. By the way, StelluR on your screen, he's 12-5 with 6 assists as well. StelluR is taking this game over.
I think there was a question, can StelluR do it again, right? I think everyone saw what StelluR did at Salt Lake City on home turf. The question was, can a player do that again? And so far, this game is an indication that yes, he's at a 2.0 KD in this game alone, 12-6.
Sentinels need to try and stagger their deaths a little bit here. But Eco's just keeping that pressure up. They need to get this next set of rocket Sentinels, otherwise this might be game over. 4 seconds left until that rocket launcher drops on the map. LethuL in position for the bus stop. Trying to do a little bit of damage. The flank coming in now, but Eco read that one like a book, but Falcated wins it. Spartan wins another important fight as well. But even though Bound kind of keeps the numbers a little bit even, they forgot about Pznguin. Pznguin gets one. Sentinels still fighting for this rocket launcher, but nobody able to get it off the pad.
Really interesting timing here. Eco's your last player alive, but he's alive in the right place in the right time where the rockets still haven't been grabbed.
So even after kills exchange, it's kind of a similar setup to what we saw just before this last set of kills went down. Spartan loses the Stalker rifle. Bubu gets chased down as well. Eco trying to clear the way for teammates. Pznguin last alive. Pznguin gets the rockets, but not the kill with the first one out the chamber.
Well, really interesting rocket grab there. It really took a while for either team to get any sort of control, and to be honest, for Pznguin to be your last player alive as the one who grabs the rockets tells you just how uncharacteristic it was. 40-30 now, 10 kill lead for SSG.
Yeah, I felt like Sentinels needed that rocket launcher, and they didn't get it. It's as simple as that, and now you're seeing an 11 kill advantage. Bubu's going to be chased down. There's multiple players who just say, I want to add a +1 to my tally. That's Pznguin, once again, with that commando and the battle rifle combination, putting down so much damage for his team.
Felt like forever for Pznguin Shields to come back. They finally do. StelluR here, 15. Oh boy, you can run, but you can't hide. Pznguin comes right back up with the Stalker rifle. Now just 5-4 kills to go here for SSG.
And I just want to point out Pznguin's stats at the moment. Ooh, he almost managed to turn on Spartan as well. He's 12 kills, 12 assists, 7 deaths. It's almost a perfect stat line as StelluR goes on yet another killing spree.
Wow, just right between the cracks, hits that one Stalker rifle shot. Beautifully done. 48-32. Now only 2 kills to go here for SSG. Here comes the collapse.
Yeah, they know where they are as well. LethuL might be the last victim. And it will be Spacestation who close things out. Map number 2 goes their way. Their Slayer record now stands at 3-3 as they pick up the win and move 1 game away from the next round.
Essentially the same exact scoreline as the last time they played it here, including one of the suicides with rockets, 51-35. Is your final score essentially. 50-34 will be your final represented on the scoreboard, but it's just about the same exact margin as we saw the last time. SSG now with a 2-0 series lead.
Now, if we look at the highlights from that last game, a lot of the story of the game was about rockets. SSG got them, and that was what turned the lead back in their favor. Then from there, they were able to just continually at least get 1 guaranteed kill with the rockets, and with the pace they were playing at, Andy, then they have numbers to flood. And SSG, when they can flood, there's not much you can do.
Great example of flooding there was back A. Just really good baiting and switching, especially when you've got Bulldog and Stalker. The amount of baiting and switching you can do on this map is absolutely terrifying, and that's exactly what we saw from SSG throughout the entire game. Plays like this, right through the ferns. 1 little shot is all it takes for the killing spree.
Easy cleanups for the final kills as well, and now we move towards game number 3 with Sentinels probably thinking about an elimination bracket run unless they can turn this one around. Live fire is where we're heading. King of the Hill is going to be the game type. And this performance from Spacestation, I'm kind of looking at it and I can't understand where the performance was lacking so much earlier with how good they looked.
Couldn't agree more. And maybe it's kind of like the Death said, maybe it's the best time for a bad thing to happen earlier on to find themselves losing to an open bracket squad. And as Clutch said, it's an open bracket squad with household names. However, on the SSG side, you do not expect to find yourselves falling as early as they did. It feels like it was a wake-up call. It feels like maybe it was the right time for a wake-up call. And now here they are up 2-0 in the series, 1 game away from closing it out.
King of the Hill might be a game type that Sentinels favor a little bit more setup based from what we saw in the first 2, Strongholds and Street Slayer. And with players like Falcated, Spartan, who like to play on those islands, play on those strong power positions, there might be an opportunity for them to start to have an influence on this game. But they need to step up and have an influence, otherwise this is going to be the end of the winners bracket side of their run here at this tournament for Sentinels. SSG 1 away, King of the Hill, where we find ourselves.
What do Sentinels have in the tank? Can they stay alive here in this series? Can they stay alive in your winners bracket? That's the question. You saw the fish pounds across the stage just now. They're locked in, but it will be no easy task taking down what is now a red-hot SSG going into game number 3.
Well, here we go then. This could be the final game of the series here between SSG and Sentinels. Bound going straight into that B Hill, I should say, excuse me. now the support comes after the information is gathered. It's 3 dead. It's 4 dead. It's SSG all alive. And inside of that hill already.
And Overshield up in 10. And you can bet based on the spawns. Let's see, first 2 come in mud. Are they going to be split? No, they're actually all going to be tower. This should be an easy Overshield as well.
Bound's POV has been perfect, by the way. Eco's POV is going to grab an Overshield, but StelluR has a snipe, and he hasn't missed yet in this game. I've just seen him popping up time after time, and now with the heat wave, Eco's on the flank. Eco's going to have some fun as well. Sentinels don't have a chance at the moment. They've got snipes to go against. They've got Overshields to go against. They've got heat waves to go against. They can't get a kill, let alone near that hill. It's going to be a perfect first hill here for SSG.
Oh my god, perfect first hill, perfect opening, perfect Overshield grab. He still has 25% Overshield left after scoring the first hill. That tells you everything you need to know. Bubu gets team shotted as well. And the advantage still coming in the form of Spacestation. Finally, they're 3 dead. StelluR's your last player alive.
StelluR's last player alive, but he's still got 1 bullet left, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him get an opening pick with it as well. It's a body shot and Bound. They'll clean it up immediately. Now they can start to formulate this push, but they are kind of trapped at the back of the tower here, working their way through mud. LethuL gets a trade, but there's StelluR as well with a double kill himself.
You put it perfectly, Mark. You can leave StelluR, but heaven forbid he's got 1 snipe shot left. Guess what? He blows the thing right back open. It's 2 dead for both sides momentarily. Eco getting taken down, though, will maintain a lead here for Sen.
3 dead, make it 4 dead. Sentinels starting to find a little bit of form, find a little bit of rhythm here. As SSG will be spawning once again over at the back of green. It's not where you want to be spawning. So many easy angles to try and pick off here for Sentinels, and the first hill was perfect for Spacestation. Well, this one's looking pretty damn good for Sentinels. They only let a kind of a millisecond of it go the way of SSG, but no, the kill doesn't come in immediately, but the trade and the explosions will be good enough. Now, where does that OS go? It's going over to Sentinels as they get that hill on the board.
Big hill and a big turnaround here with this Overshield as well. Can they convert? It looked like this was going to be SSG all the way without any doubt, but it's a big response from Sentinels. What can LethuL do with the Overshield?
Needs to find some targets. Sentinels back on the map for now. Eco trying to scarper away himself. Player taken down bottom middle, but not many engagements been taken yet. And look at this sneaky position. Eco's got that repulse, but a little bit too close to really have an impact with it at the moment. Bound versus LethuL. LethuL with a perfect 4 and the double kill. And now you're seeing Sentinels with control of the garage hill, with players on the map as well. And around 25% to 30% of that hill.
Score on the board, as you said. Kills on the board and confidence as well. Let's get into a listen in here with Sentinels.
Goes there, he goes there.
Big door. In A.
He's on you,
He has a fucking repulse on me.
And big door spawn, Mike.
He's 1 shot. You hit with that nade?
Numbers up.
No, I spawned it. I'm trying to get the screens to stay alive here.
AP through the smoke for snipe.
I'm in now.
It's on me, small door. Bound.
On him in.
Coming, Jesse.
On him in, one shot.
Dead,
Nice.
dead.
Hey,
Two screens.
Pillars.
Pillars and 2 screens.
Pillars still. Pillars really weak.
Coming, Mikey.
One shot bottom in.
And one's top, bottom. I can get him, yeah. And one's tower. Yep, I'm hitting big.
Behind me, dummies.
Should only be one.
Bottom mid with weapon. Bottom mid and key door with snipe. Rat tunnel with snipe.
Kill hill.
Yeah.
Rat tunnel weak on teach.
Go.
Watch out, jail.
Sniper, go swamps. One shot, no. I have def cam. Sitting rat. With sniper. He's on this back A steps.
I naded it.
I spawned big door. They're behind you guys.
Weak.
I did it.
Come on,
I got killed from movie.
Where's the guy?
We never killed the rat tunnel. Rat tunnel in back A.
Kill the one, dude. The one there. Rats on him. Yeah. He's just
Going
big door.
Three plus.
One is free. They're not on it yet. Sniping it
Shot down.
He's sniping it.
Yeah, one shot lookouts.
I got 1. He got a melee
Small
on me.
door.
Though. Small door killing me.
Okay, I have a shot.
Yeah.
One shot.
Small door?
Dead. Screens again. Alright, get on.
So jump out the comms, back into the game. Sentinels cannot convert that hill. It's SSG who managed to go up 2 to 1 here, but now you're seeing the money hill, and you're seeing Spartan with that all glowing overshield on his body. This is an opportunity for SSG to maybe tie this up.
Very good shots, very good damage as well, the way he's able to push in cuts there. Eliminate both threats, essentially pushing one through the dummy door and eliminating the next one on the cuts as well. This will lead to more time on the board.
50% of the way done here. Sentinels on this hill as well. Falcated and LethuL just death crosses in front of him though. Bound is going to challenge and win that fight as well with a sidekick. Even with the overshield, it wasn't enough to hold off the push. Bubu gets 1 with a stick. The Sentinels come off the respawn now on the tower. Eco trying to hold down that hill.
Let's see what Eco can do. Pressure is coming in, but he should be able to angle away here. As the help, pressure and support coming in from the scoreboard, but Pznguin falling is dangerous for him. And now that's 3 dead. StelluR's last player alive.
Yeah, StelluR's trying to clean up a few one-shots. Not going to be able to, though, and those kills going in the favor of Sentinels means this will be a tie game in just a few moments' time. Sentinels get that point on the board. It's 2-2. There's still life in Sen yet.
Not life in that repulse, though. Spartan tries to take him to the sandbags and has to actually take the long way around eventually, though. Getting his first kill. Can he get the second one as well? No, StelluR's up to the task, but Sentinels making this not an easy feat in this game number 3.
StelluR gets absolutely nuked there by a couple of frag grenades thrown his way. Falcated won't get the trade onto Bound. And SSG have control of the tower side. This is the ideal setup for them, but there's Spartan, there's bubu in the kill feed. Bound now has to leave that position. Where's the bubu's here? And he's got an assault rifle. Gets that trade. 3 dead here for SSG, 2 alive for Sen.
A little bit of a 1v1 here for a moment, as StelluR should be getting. Yes, StelluR does get the overshield, which is a big, big turning point in this game. Traded out, though, in a very important trade.
Yeah, really impressive that from LethuL as well. When it collected that heat wave that just come off free spawn, therefore he was able to do big DPS onto that overshield. Immediately cleaned up, so not too much of an impact on this game. Heat wave going to be picked up by Spartan as well, and now Spacestation find themselves 3 dead. StelluR's been spotted out as last alive as well. And even though they're over halfway to capturing this hill, Sentinels once again are standing inside of it.
StelluR gets a trade there, but not sure how important it's going to end up, as continued control, continued points here for Sentinels. Need to stay alive here long enough to wait for their teammates to respawn.
There's a lot of pressure on Falcated here to hit some good shots, because the flood is coming in from the A flat. And there's a shroud screen as well, and I tell you what, it's impossible to hit people when you can't see them, but there is one almost. Hits the second as well, but that shroud from Spacestation, it's brilliant. They now take all of Sentinels down, they regain control of the tower, and you've just given StelluR, wow, momentarily, a sniper rifle. Lead now for SSG. They get that 3rd hit on the board.
Like you said, a very, very impressive shroud, perfectly executed there, and also really, really well-timed slays to get the lead here. 3-2 with 3 minutes left.
One of the best shrouds I think I've seen in quite some time, to be honest with you. StelluR now on his own. LethuL trying to hunt down that final kill. Loads of time left on the clock here. The problem for Sentinels is they know they can't afford to let another hill slip. Otherwise, that will be Space Station's game and Space Station's series. Overshield coming up in around 25 seconds or so as well. And if Sen can get this early time and win that battle, we will have a tie game.
Space Station, they play it slow, they play it patient, and they get the first pick. A lot of pressure on LethuL here.
Doesn't have any repulses left. Trying to dodge eco, but
wow,
every single player has fallen. Falcated's just come off a respawn as well. He will be able to fight for the overshield, but Pznguin's here with a sidekick, shredding away at the shields. And even though Falcated is trying to escape him, does a pretty darn good job of it initially. Pznguin's going to chase him down. Spartan, no idea that Pznguin's coming for him as well. Eco helps him out. There's another shroud. The shrouds have been SSG's friends.
Really, really good shroud. Oh no, the reversal back smack with the shroud out of Pznguin will maintain control. And all the while, of course, is StelluR picking up that overshield that they left in the open field. It's a clean grab and only a few points away for Space Station closing this out.
SSG inside of that hill. One more push here for Sentinels. Otherwise, it is going to be the sweep. Keep your eyes on that kill feed, everyone. Because if it's SSG who get the kills, it'll be SSG who take the series. Eco, though, kind of left on his own momentarily. A couple of players fall. Sentinels need to flood this. They need to push this. But here's Eco. There's a double kill. Will he get the triple?
You might finally get taken down, but does all the damage you needed anyway. Spartan's your last player alive here.
4 dead. Sentinels may be able to pressurize one more time, but it's going to have to be a straight line push, which is never a nice thing to do. Not going to be able to get there. SSG return to form and repeat the same dosage to SSG we saw when they won that championship just under a month ago.
What a convincing win there. Not just in the series, but also in that game. Really, really impressive stuff, and it's the same exact fashion. They only outslay 65-60. However, on the board in terms of the hills, they win 4-2. It's a decisive victory objectively, and you really can't knock their efficiency right now. They're everywhere they need to be on the map.
And they look very, very focused. Maybe, like we were saying, that was the best thing that could have happened to them in pool play, was letting that series slip through their fingers. You cannot be cold against any team. And now they really are starting to heat up. 3-0 the final score, and when you're looking at those game scores as well, Andy. 250 to 101, 50 to 34, 4-2 in that final game. It tells a lot of the story of what we just saw.
It really does, and especially when you pair them with the slaying differences like we talked about in games 1 and 3. If you take the ratios of the objective points on the board relative to the slaying ratios, those are probably some of the highest statistics in terms of doubling your opponent's hills with only having, for example, 5 more kills. Those are pretty big outlier stats coming in from SSG, and it tells you just how fierce and efficient they are right now.
Yeah, no hometown crowd this time for SSG, but the result exactly the same against Sentinels. They will sweep them aside with a 3-0 victory as we send it down now for an interview with Boundaries with Blaze.